Targets, you need a target every time you hit. I have 2 white laundry baskets set up in the corner as my target. And they're right on the back of that baseline. So I know if it goes over the basket without hitting one of those baskets, I just had a lob that went out of bounds. So I always have a target that I'm working on, and when you're drilling, you should have a target, whether it's a mental one or a physical one, still trying to have that target. Now there's kind of 2 places to hit lobs. So one, I could go to either corner. I generally practice when I drill, I'm trying to go to that far corner because the advantage there is it's a longer distance. So it's harder for that ball to go out of bounds. Now, if I hit left of that, it goes out of bounds off the side of the court, not good. But that corner in general is a farther distance away. So that's a good place to target. I'm not necessarily trying to hit that basket, just maybe right in front of it to give myself some margin for error. Now another good place to go is down the middle. The bad part is court's not as long. So maybe more of my lobs go out if I try and go down the middle. Now the good part is it may confuse my opponents about who's going to go get that ball. One thing. Second thing is, when they get back there, if this ball lobs down the middle, then they don't really have an angle on the ball to get set up to hit whatever shot they're going to hit. Like to run away, you have to kind of run away from the ball and then go back toward it if that ball's in the middle to give yourself some space to hit that ball. That wasn't bad. So if I can put this ball down the middle and get it over their heads, it causes some confusion about who's going to go get that ball, and it takes away their angle to hit it. It's a kind of a tough shot, and then they may lose track of that ball visually because it's coming maybe over their heads. They lose track, then when they try and reacquire the ball visually, tougher thing to do. And if they're in position, it's probably just because they got lucky if they took their eyes off the ball. So talk about this a little bit later, maybe about never taking your eye off of a lob when it's been hit in your direction. So 2 places to go. Go in the corner, that was way short. All right, go down the middle. So try those 2 things out. If you got to pick one and practice one, I'd say practice going to that corner, getting feel for how to hit that ball and still have it be in bounds. All right, so as we hit these lobs, how high should that ball be when I'm hitting it? So I'm thinking McDonald's arches, and you know how vertical those arches go for that McDonald's logo on their sign. So I want to hit that ball as high as I can and still control it, and I didn't control that one. But if I can hit that ball high, a couple of good things happen. So one, if I have spin on it, it's coming straight down, and that spin will grab the floor and make it kick a little bit harder, versus if horizontally it has more speed, that speed takes away part of the spin. If I hit this ball high, I've had some people go, oh, I didn't even think that ball was going to land in. So it goes so high, but if I can finesse it well enough and have it drop straight back in, it will fool some people into think it's going out, and they may not even try and run that lob down. The key thing though is, if I had to pick one thing, is that the higher this ball is, as it peaks up at that height, and I'm hitting these up probably around 35 or 40 feet, the higher that ball is, it's going to hit its high point and then start coming down. So the further it has to drop, the more speed it gets. So as this ball is coming down from that height, if they're going to hit that ball out of the air, it makes it harder to do because it's coming down faster if it's coming down from a higher height. If I didn't hit this ball very high over their head, or if I hit it short, then it's not coming down very fast. It makes it easier for them to hit. So if I can get this ball high, and the spin I put on it is exaggerated when it hits the floor, and it makes for a harder ball for them to hit because it's coming down faster when it comes down. So I want to get this ball as high as I can get it and still control it. Now if you're playing outdoors and there's wind, that's a different thing. I only play indoors. I spend enough time on a tennis court outside with the elements, I don't really feel inclined to do that anymore. So I play indoors where it's controlled, no sun in my eyes, no wind to take this ball and blow it out of bounds if I hit it well. So I want that ball as high as I can, and I want them to have to deal with a ball that's moving faster as it's coming down from 40 feet than if it's coming down from 20 feet. So the other thing is, if I were to lob this ball short, but it still went up that high, say I only pulled them back to no man's land, I didn't pull them back to the baseline. If that ball is still coming down faster, it still makes it harder for them to hit, even though maybe I didn't get that ball over their head, but I got it up high enough that maybe they will miss-hit that ball or minimally not hit it really well with an overhead. So try and think of those McDonald's golden arches, you know, so it's like the feet aren't very far apart, but it goes almost straight up and comes down almost. So I want my lobs to go high, and then I have to get enough horizontal speed on it to where it ends up in the back of the court. Ideally, that doesn't always happen. But if that ball's coming down from 35 or 40 feet, it's got a lot of time to gain speed, and as it comes down, harder to hit. So I've seen a lot of people be there but go, I'm just going to wait for it to bounce and hit it after that. And so I've taken away from them their chance to hit that overhead, and that's in my favor. Lobs off the backhand side, we'll have to do these at some point. So everything is pretty much the same as what I was doing on the forehand side. Pretty much all of that applies here. So I'm trying to let this ball get inside of my front foot, trying to let this ball come down off its crest, trying to move, I'm trying to be low, I'm trying to swing low to high. Everything I was doing on the forehand side, pretty much identical here on this backhand side. A couple of big differences. One is I'm not trying to spin this ball, I'm not trying to put top spin or any side spin, three-quarter spin on it. I'm trying to hit straight through this ball, north to south, south to north. I'm trying to hit right through the middle of that ball. My paddle, I don't think I talked about this on the forehand side, should continue on in the direction of that target. If it does, my consistency gets better. Just trying to swing low to high here. Not trying to impart any top spin at all. The other big thing is I don't have my non-paddle hand that I can put out in front and tell me where this ball is going to be, so I have to be willing to move my feet and get where I need to be without the assistance of my left hand telling me where that ball is going to be. I can still use my left hand, and I do, if I keep it on the back of this paddle, just my fingertips, not my palm. Then my brain gets information about the angle of this paddle and where it is in space, and that will help me hit the ball better. So the longer I can keep my non-paddle hand on the back of this paddle, I get a little bit of shoulder rotation, but mainly my brain knows better where this ball is, and I can hit it better. Now, if I were to do it without that, then I don't have all this information from my non-paddle hand. And yes, I can do it. My brain just doesn't have as much information as it does. And it's probably harder to get that shoulder rotation started. I'm not trying to put a lot in here, but enough to control this ball. More body mass I can put into a shot, the easier it is to control. If I can get a little bit of shoulder rotation, still trying to go back there in the corner, although that one didn't, because that's a deeper spot. I've still got my laundry baskets over there as my target. Like I said, everything else is pretty much the same. Trying to stay low. Get under this ball and just lift it. Breathe the whole time. My paddle follows that ball. It chases that ball as it goes away, like it does on the forehand side. If I can do that, my aim gets better and better. Trying to chase this ball as it goes away with my paddle and not trying to stop that swing short. The ball's already gone. I think people think that if they halt that follow through, it's going to keep that ball from going long and out of bounds. Ball's already gone. That's not going to do anything except make your accuracy worse. So good follow through, good swing. Just trying to lift this ball. Now, as I said on the forehand side, I was trying to start with that paddle down on the floor. As I'm doing this, I'm so accustomed on my backhand side to starting with this paddle up around my shoulder. I just realized I was doing that. So again, more of a consistency and a familiarity issue is if I can have this paddle swinging the same way all the time, my consistency tends to get better. All right, I think that's it for the backhand side. Need to practice those as well, because at some point we're going to have to hit backhand lobs in the game. If we haven't practiced, they're probably not going to go well. Use that left hand, try and hit straight through the ball, don't spin it, lift it low to high, aim for that deep corner if you can. That's all you got to do.